In 2009, Craig Jelinek walked into a meeting with Costco's founder, Jim Sinegal, and said the company was losing money on the hot dog combo. They needed to raise the price. Sinegal looked at him and said, quote, "If you raise the effing price of the hot dog, I will kill you. Figure it out." That hot dog combo has been $1.50 since 1985, not a single penny more. And that decision, the decision to lose money on a hot dog, is the reason Costco makes $6 billion a year in pure profit. Here's how a hot dog explains one of the smartest business strategies ever built. Let's start with what $1.50 meant in 1985. Ronald Reagan was president. A gallon of gas cost $1.12. The average movie ticket was $3.50. Adjusted for inflation, that $1.50 hot dog should cost $4.25 today. That's not a small gap. That's a company choosing to ignore 40 years of inflation on one of its most visible products. And it's not a small product. Costco sells over 200 million hot dogs a year. More than every Major League Baseball stadium combined. More than most fast food chains. So the obvious question, why would any company intentionally lose money at that scale? Most people hear this story and say, oh, it's a loss leader. You sell the hot dog cheap to get people in the door, and they buy a TV on the way out. That's how most retailers think about loss leaders. And it's partly true, but Costco is doing something much more interesting than that. A traditional loss leader, like a grocery store selling milk below cost, works on impulse. You came in for milk, you leave with $40 of stuff you didn't plan to buy. Costco doesn't work like that. You can't even get to the food court without a membership. You've already paid $60 or $120 just to walk in the building. The hot dog isn't getting you through the door. You're already inside. So what's it actually doing? It's making a promise. It's saying, we will not screw you. Not on the hot dog. Not on the rotisserie chicken. Not on anything. The hot dog is a trust signal. It's the most visible, most memorable proof that Costco's entire model is built on one idea. We take the minimum margin possible on everything, and we make our money somewhere else entirely. And somewhere else is the key to the whole thing. Costco's membership fee is where almost all of their profit comes from, not from selling you products, from the annual fee you pay just to shop there. In 2024, Costco collected over $4.8 billion in membership fees. Their total operating profit was about $7.8 billion. That means membership fees alone account for over 60% of their profits. Think about what that means. Costco doesn't need to make money on the stuff they sell. They just need you to keep renewing your membership. And this is where the hot dog becomes genius-level psychology. When you eat a hot dog and a drink for $1.50, your brain does a calculation, whether you want it to or not. It says, I just got something for less than it should cost. This place is on my side. That feeling is worth more than the margin on a hot dog, because it makes you renew your membership. And their renewal rate? 93%. 93. For context, most subscription services would commit crimes for an 80% retention rate. Netflix is around 90. Costco beats them all, with a physical store you have to drive to. The hot dog isn't a product, it's a renewal engine. But the hot dog isn't an isolated trick. It's the most extreme version of a rule that governs everything Costco sells. The rule is this: no product at Costco can be marked up more than 15%. Ever. For context, a typical department store marks up products 50 to 100%. A grocery store averages 25 to 30%. Costco caps at 15, and they enforce it. There's a famous story, possibly legend, but repeated by multiple former employees, that when Costco discovered they could buy high-end jeans for a price that would still give them their 15% at $29, they sold them for $29. Not $49. Not $39. $29. They left money on the table. On purpose. This is what most people don't understand about Costco. It's not that they're trying to be cheap. It's that the entire company is structured around a constraint. The constraint is the strategy. When you make a rule that says, "We will never take more than 15%, you make every other decision easier. You don't have pricing meetings. You don't argue about whether the market will bear a higher margin on this particular item. The rule decides, and the customer trusts the rule even when they don't know it exists, because they feel it every time they shop. And when brands won't play by Costco's rules, Costco builds the product themselves. That's what Kirkland Signature is. It's not just a store brand, it's a threat. When a name brand refuses to supply Costco at a price that fits within that 15% cap, Costco says, "Fine, we'll make it ourselves." And they do. And they sell it right next to the name brand for 30 to 40% less. Kirkland Signature does over $70 billion a year in revenue. If it were its own company, it would be one of the largest consumer brands in the world, bigger than Coca-Cola's retail sales, bigger than Nike. And here's the part that matters. Kirkland's existence forces every supplier to lower their price, because the alternative is getting replaced on the shelf by a product with a Kirkland label that consumers trust just as much. The hot dog at the food court, the 15% rule, Kirkland Signature. They're all the same strategy expressed in different ways. They all say the same thing. Our job is not to maximize what we extract from you. Our job is to minimize it and make money from your loyalty instead. So what makes this a masterpiece of strategy and not just a store that sells stuff cheap? It's the coherence. Every single decision at Costco reinforces the same message. The limited product selection, they carry 4,000 items versus a Walmart's 100,000, means every item was chosen to be the best value. The warehouse aesthetic means they're not spending money on aesthetics you don't care about. The paid membership means they're accountable to you, not to squeezing margin. Most companies say the customer comes first and then make 600 small decisions that put margin first. Costco made one big decision: charge a membership fee, cap margins at 15%, and then let that decision make every other decision for them. The hot dog is just the most visible proof that they mean it. $1.50 since 1985, while everything else in the world got more expensive. It's not about the hot dog. It's about what the hot dog proves. And what it proves is worth $4.8 billion a year in membership fees. If you found this interesting, you'll want to see how another company uses the exact opposite strategy, making their product deliberately hard to buy, rejecting customers on purpose, and getting richer because of it. That video is right here. And if this is your first time here, Company Curious breaks down the hidden logic behind the world's biggest brands. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.